actually made the decision to leave my successful job because of the pandemic. It put a lot of things into perspective for what is important to me. And I feel like that is really the most important thing, is making sure first, before you jump into a business, or when you're jumping into a business, is to making sure that you're mentally taking care of yourself. And it took a lot of, tears and pain to figure that out. And right now, as I sit here today, I'm in a really great spot, and I feel like I have a laser focus on what we need to focus on to make this successful. But I do think that it's mental health.
Hello, this is Marco Rock. Welcome to Marco Rock TV. My name is Marco Rock. I'm your host for Inside a Great Mind, where we interview entrepreneurs, achievers, game changers for the purpose to inspire and inform you. Today on the show, on episode 75, we're so thrilled to have Kellee Mikuls. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good to have you on the show.
Thank you. This is my first podcast, so yeah. I'm so pumped.
Awesome. So tell us, who is Kellee?
Oh my gosh, well, I feel like right now, today, on this Friday, when we're sitting in this beautiful patio, I feel like I'm just like constantly changing, you know?
Okay.
I recently quit my corporate job that I've been in and jumped full feet to my startup, Swishboom. So that is like right now what I'm laser focused on.
Okay. I want to learn about Swishboom. First, I want to learn about how you guys come up with the name first.
Oh my gosh.
That's the first part.
Yes. Well, so I played basketball.
Okay.
Up until, my senior year in high school, I played basketball in Hawaii. I'm from Hawaii. Okay. And so when we were thinking about this product is all about making life easy and sweet and good. And if you've played basketball, having a swish is the ultimate, right? It's just, so I knew I wanted to incorporate swish somehow to give a nod to my basketball days, and Boom just kind of was that, something sweet and it happens quick, and that really is what the app is. It's making life easier and it happens fast.
All right, so tell us about the concept. When the idea came, when it's evolved, if it's the pandemic who triggered you, to have that, all those kind of stuff,
So Swishboom is a mobile app that helps families schedule their babysitters using babysitters loved by their friends and families. So there's a huge network of babysitting apps and care.com and services right now, but none of them are through your network. None of them are through, being connected to a friend and using their sitter. And so as a mom of 3, and at the time a very demanding...
How old are your kids?
I have a 4.5-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 10-year-old, all girls.
Busy house, you.
Super busy, super noisy. We call it a sorority.
It's funny.
Kappa Mikuls. So my career started to grow. I started to make money. I started to want to go to restaurants and go to concerts with my husband, and I kept having to text sitters and wait for them to respond. You have kids. I don't know if you felt that pain point before. Maybe it's actually more the moms that typically do the babysitting procurement. But I kept running into that where I'm like, they're not responding, or they'll say no, and then I have to move to my next one. So it was a problem that was real to me at the time. And I thought there had to be an easier way. We can get groceries delivered, but I can't get a babysitter to come to my house. And so Swishboom was born out of my own problem and my own selfishness to go to a restaurant with my husband for a few hours.
So how does the app work? So you download the app.
Correct.
And then there's a network of babysitter people that you know. So how does the people come into it?
So the beauty of the app is that first off, you download it via the App Store, Google Play. It's for Android and Apple users. You download it, and immediately it prompts you to add your friends and family that have kids. So you do that purely through text. So you click the different friends in your phone book, and Swishboom will send them an invite to join you on the Swishboom platform. It's free for you and free for them to join, and then Swishboom will then prompt you to add sitters that you have used in the past. So for me, I always typically had about 3 to 5 high school, college age girls that I would use as sitters, and that was in my Rolodex of sitters. And so I added them, and they become part of my Swishboom network. So when I post a job, it will go out to my sitters first, and then it goes out to my friends' sitters. And most families have about 3 to 5 sitters that they use, some a little less. Those typically benefit from Swishboom even more because they get to lean on the sitters of their friends as a true referral, you know? And so you post a job and you can get it claimed within minutes.
That's interesting.
It is. It works so well. I mean, I have this interesting story that proves what kind of proved my theory when we were thinking it out. I had tickets to Hamilton here in Omaha. And I'm a huge Hamilton fan. I was in that online lottery to get tickets. It spent hours trying to get tickets. I had tickets for a show on Friday, a Friday evening show for Hamilton. And on Monday, I started to look for sitters. So I sent a text to my favorite sitter, waited till the end of the day. She said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have homecoming." I said, okay. So I went to the next sitter. Tuesday rolls around. Went to the next sitter, sent her a text, said, "Hey, we're going to Hamilton. Can we get you for 3 or 4 hours? Sorry, my mom wants me to go visit my aunt." This went on 5 or 6 times. And come Thursday, I'm freaking out. So I get a list from a friend of all these pediatricians that are studying at Creighton University. They're in the med school. And I text 20 of them. And I said, "My name is Kellee. I said, I'm not a creeper.
I need a babysitter.
I need a babysitter to go to Hamilton. Please." Within 2 minutes, one of them responded. And so a light bulb went off to me to say, wait a minute, if we get a bigger net, we can get a response way faster than me having to just rely on my sitters, just one after the other. And then a lot of times I would just say, "Sorry, I can't go to this work function, or I can't go out because I don't have a sitter." And when we launched in July. This idea had been years in the making. We launched in July in the middle of the pandemic. And the best thing about Swishboom is we've endeared so many followers and users, because during July, people used Swishboom for remote learning help. And really, and had sitters come in, and while the mom was in the basement working, the sitter would go through and say, "Okay, you have to be on your Zoom at noon, and you have to do this coloring thing at 1 o'clock. And the sitters, and so now those families, they're endeared to us because we really were there for them in a time of dire need. And so we're continuing to build on that, and it's really just scheduling using your network. It's taking, Facebook is so big, LinkedIn's so big, we're paring it back down to truly who's your village?
Exactly.
Who are your people?
So how many users do you have currently on the platform?
So actually today we are kind of sitting at that 1,300 user mark. We're growing pretty quickly daily. I mean, we're seeing a spike in users with people getting their vaccines. We're seeing a spike with people going back to offices reopening and people needing some help with school still not being full time. So and it's really interesting too, because we're nationwide. So I'll see jobs booked in Dallas, Chicago.
That was going to be my next question. Yeah, you already answered that.
It's really people bring their own little network. We've got this group of like 7 best friends in Ohio, and they are just like, you can tell they're just going out because they are booking sitters and they all share their sitters amongst each other.
How do you get into this market though?
So this is a little sneaky, but I sit in 1,000 Facebook mom groups.
Oh, you got a strategy there, huh?
I do. I love it because I get to see what's important to them. They're, to hear what our customer wants, and when they're looking for a sitter, I'm able to say, "Hey, have you tried this app out? It launched," and give them my experience with it.
Did you tell them that it's your app?
I do.
Okay.
I tell them because for them, it is value to show that I'm a mom. Right? I'm not some corporation that's like looking to monetize. I look to solve my own problem, and this was the one that made me feel comfortable having. I don't want strangers coming to watch my kid.
Definitely.
Yeah, I want someone that if I have my best friend, I would trust her referral if she wanted that. If she believe that they were a good sitter. And so the moms really connect to that on the Facebook groups, and we've grown huge via that, honestly. That's been our biggest channel right now.
Okay. So what is your next step?
So really the next thing, I mean, we have a pretty aggressive, we raised our first round of funding.
Okay.
We did a pre-seed round, and all of the investors were users of the app, which I thought was really cool.
That's cool, yeah.
Yeah, it really validated what we're doing. And the next step is right now we're focused on growing our partnerships. Nebraska Med has offered Swishboom to all of their employees.
Wow, that's good.
And then the university system is interested in doing the same for across Nebraska to make childcare accessible to anybody and everyone that wants to contribute. So we're going to focus on growing that, and then we're also just going to focus on our users and our jobs, and how do we help people feel more comfortable booking jobs, and do it in a way that's safe. And that's really just the next 6 months. We want to get to 10,000 users.
That's
our
cool.
goal.
So what are your challenges right now?
Well, I mean, I feel like I'm starting to feel the pressure on my shoulders a little lightened because of the with COVID, feeling like we're starting to somewhat get back to normal. I'm able to have a conversation with you, which I probably wouldn't have done 3 months ago. I'm kind of curious right now. I'm kind of curious to see how jobs pick up. Are people starting to go out more? Are we going to see more events? And that will help us validate what Swishboom will look like. So I wouldn't say it's a challenge. I'm just starting to get a better understanding of what Swishboom will look like in a real normal time versus a COVID time, which is all we've been operating in.
Yeah. So pretty much you start this thing in the middle of the pandemic. There's a lot of people out there who wanted to start a business, especially female. What are some of the tricks or strategy or advice can you tell those people out there, from your experience starting this business during the pandemic?
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I don't know about you, but like the pandemic from a mental health perspective was very draining on me. I actually made the decision to leave my successful job because of the pandemic. It put a lot of things into perspective for what is important to me. And I feel like that is really the most important thing, is making sure first, before you jump into a business, or when you're jumping into a business, is to making sure that you're mentally taking care of yourself. And it took a lot of, tears and pain to figure that out. And right now, as I sit here today, I'm in a really great spot, and I feel like I have a laser focus on what we need to focus on to make this successful. But I do think that it's mental health. I mean, it's having a clear mind. And that's something that the pandemic really put into perspective for me.
So what helped you through that process in the decision making to want to quit your corporate job and to focus on your startup? So what was the transition look like?
Well, mine wasn't I wouldn't say it was a transition. I would say it was pretty ugly.
Okay.
It was, I was just really unhappy.
Okay.
And the pandemic made me realize that, I got to do something that makes me happy, and I don't want to do. I want to do something that lights my fire. And so, for me, the strategies that I found, when I was really struggling with having this idea that was my baby that I wanted to nourish, but yet having to feed my family, I made the decision that if I'm happy and 100% into it, I'm going to be so much greater successful. And it was a calculated risk. It was a risk that I was betting on myself, and that's what I'm doing right now is betting on myself. And to me, I think the world is my oyster right now, versus before, where I felt like I was kind of just in the grind.
What gives you confidence, Kellee?
Well, we talked about our daughters.
Yeah.
They're the best. They give me the confidence to want to be successful and to wake up every day and say, I'm going to make it a great day. And they're so excited about Swishboom and what I'm doing. that I just want to knock it out of the park for them.
Well, did they understand the concept and the whole thing?
They do. They talk about it. They tell people about it. They're
They become your ambassadors, right?
They are. If you follow us on social media, we're getting bigger on social media, and they are like the sole model content people.
Wow.
Because that's like what Swishboom is about, is being authentic parenting, and giving the parents the grace to have a break, to recharge, to reconnect with people. And it's so important, especially after COVID, how distant it feels like everyone's been. It's how, I'm a true believer in it, so.
That's awesome. If you were to be an animal, which one would you be and why?
Gosh, these are good questions. If I were to be an animal, I would for sure be a dolphin.
Dolphin?
Yeah. Why? Well, dolphins are really smart.
Okay.
Dolphins actually kill sharks, which I think is kind of cool.
I didn't know that though,
yes,
to be honest with you.
They can. They're super smart.
Okay.
And I mean, they get to be in the ocean and just seem like they travel in packs and pods.
Explore different things.
Yeah, I think that would be amazing. Get to see different things. So I would be a dolphin.
Okay. What would be your advice, tips to females entrepreneurs out there, especially moms entrepreneurs out there? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think what I always grew up thinking is that you have to have balance.
Okay.
That's a lie. It's not realistic. Balance is not. You're always going to be spinning 6 plates, 10 plates. I think I would drop that notion of balance in your head, because you're always going to be feeling like you're inadequate. And our male counterparts don't feel inadequate. But yet women do. We tend to feel like we're always behind. And I think if we drop that notion that we have to have this balance, that we're going to have so much weight lifted on us, and we're going to be able to see so much more potential. So for mom entrepreneurs, I would say, you're not going to have it all figured out. You're not going to have it. Everything's not going to be perfect, but just keep going, keep moving, and follow your heart.
What would be your last advice to my audience?
Well, I haven't made I'm not Jeff Bezos or Amazon yet, but I did jump and go from a career that was predictable and jumped into something that was new and crazy. And so if you have something, I feel like, why not just do it? And if there's something that you're thinking about that you really don't want to have a regret on, I would say just go and do it, because I'm so much happier now than I was when I was sitting on the sidelines thinking that my idea, but not putting it into motion.
Happiness is important.
Happiness is so important, and I feel like if you're happy and love what you're doing, it's going to be amazing.
Awesome. Kellee, thank you so much for your time.
Yes, thank you for having me. This was great.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for watching episode 75 with Kellee. Hope to see you next time. Thank you.